Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to, I had a writer show me something this morning, and it looked like what a writer would do, so I'm going to do it too. Yeah, Isaac showed me when I came in this morning. He said, "Look, Miss Hensley," and I thought, he looks like a writer. That's what a writer would do, so I'm going to put my pencil right there, okay? All right. Turn so you can see this really good. So turn around just a little bit, Giselle. All right, good. Hold it, Isaac. What have we been talking about in Writer's Workshop the last couple of days? Interesting words. And where did we get the idea to use interesting words from? We got that idea from somewhere. We got it from Ian, because he wrote a story, and it's like we went at all the words he used, because he said, I don't want to use boring words, I want to use interesting words. So we decided, instead of calling them like Donald Cruz words or Karen Beaumont words, we would call them Ian words. Ian words means interesting words, okay? So I've been noticing that some of you have been trying out some interesting words in your writing, and that's pretty cool. And sometimes we just have a handful of words, and that's all we're using, and we're using those over and over again. Even if it's an interesting word, like think of an interesting word for me. You can tell me an interesting word. Gobble's pretty interesting. Yeah. Can you think of another word? I like that word. What about awesome? That's pretty interesting, isn't it? What if we said awesome this and awesome that and awesome, awesome, awesome?
It'll get boring.
That word becomes boring. So we are going to talk today about changing some of our words to make them more interesting. And I talked with Addie, and we were looking at some of her stories. We didn't get out the stories she's working on right now. We went back and looked at some of the stories that she had worked on in the past. I'm writing a story right now. I've told you I'm writing a story, and I've been writing it for months and months. And the other night I was in bed and I thought, I need to change that story again. So sometimes you'll work on a story over and over and over again and make it get just right, Jasmine. So Addie and I looked at some of her work, at some of her stories, and we wanted to see if we could get one of them just right. And we pulled out some. We had this one about her daddy and her going to the dog store and getting a new dog. And we looked at the one about the zoo, and I think she's going to work on the front cover on this one, make it more interesting. And then the one she said she would like to work on is this one, All About Alabama. And when I looked at this one, she really didn't even have a lot of text. Like, Addie usually writes a lot of text. And maybe she didn't, I don't know, because of the paper she used. So she and I are going to look at this one later. And then I looked at this one. This one excites me. It's about the fair. And I went through and I found some places, she and I did, that maybe we could work on some interesting words. Okay? And I asked Addie, I said, Addie, what would help your story? Then we looked at this one. This is one of her more recent ones, but she had finished it. And she said, I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. And I said, well, what if we help you? So will you help her? Yeah. Will you help her use some interesting words in this story? So what I did, what do you notice about her story right off?
It has highlights.
Do you see that? That highlighter tape. Why? And I put it there. Why?
Maybe because there's interesting words that mean that too.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe you put the highlighter tape to make some words to make them interesting.
Maybe. Maybe I do. What do you think?
Maybe there's a highlighter tape because they might be the interesting words for you to know.
So maybe those are the words I want to make more interesting, or she wants to make more interesting. That's kind of exactly what I did. And when I was reading Addie's story, I thought, ooh, she's got some really interesting words. What in the world are we going to do to make it even more interesting. And I thought, sometimes you need to add some more words to help it be even more interesting. Let me tell you what her story's about. Her story's about Thanksgiving. And she's not got a front cover and all that. She's not, she's got some more work to do on it. Her story's about Thanksgiving. You know what part about Thanksgiving? It's about eating dinner. Absolutely. And that's really what it's about, spending time with your family, Isaac. And guess what, Ian? She did something that we asked her to do. Remember, we told Miss Gabby, Miss Gabby, you've never done that at Thanksgiving. You need to do that. What did we tell Miss Gabby she needs to do?
Eat her.
Well, watch the Macy's parade. So, Addie watched the Thanksgiving Day parade, the Macy's parade, and guess what her story's about? It's about that. Guess what else they did at her house? They put a parade on in the living room. And I thought, how interesting. So it's really cool. So let me read